Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Every once in a while, you're going to hear somebody say, it's on like Donkey Kong, but it's not really on, right? They're trying to hype something up that might need a little boost. But tonight, I don't care if you like hockey or not, it is on like Donkey Kong. You've got the finals of this Four Nations face-off tournament. USA against Canada. Now, I don't know how you could not be romantic about this as the final, because the last time these two teams played, Rob, it was in Canada, and the Canadians, they're upset with tariffs and Donald Trump, so they booed the United States national anthem.
How'd that go?
Well, there were a couple guys on Team USA, a couple brothers, Kachuk brothers, a Miller kid that said, you know what? I think that sucks. And in the first 9 seconds of clock time, there were 3 fights. I think the USA won all 3 fights. Both brothers won, Miller won, and then Team USA beat Canada 3-1 in front of their own fans. Now, that was this past weekend in preliminary play.
Now, this is the All-Star game, correct?
Basically.
Right.
Right. They're calling it the Four Nations face-off, but it's the de facto All-Star
I
game.
like this.
I kind of do too.
Yeah.
So tonight, it's the final. The game is in Boston. The United States, 3-1 winners. In the last matchup, a lot of energy, a lot of bad blood. The Kachuk brothers representing America. But tonight, it's the championship match. So, are you in or out on betting this game tonight, Rob?
Hey, if you're in, I'm in, brother.
USA is a very slight favorite, but it's really basically even. So moneyline bets, Team USA minus 112, Canada basically the same. It's almost a push.
It's a push.
So who you got? The over-under is 5.5. Listen, I'm going to sit here and be completely transparent with you. I like hockey. I'm not a hockey handicapper, right? We are not professional handicappers. That's why we have them on this show. But when I see two brothers punching a Canadian in the face because they booed the national anthem, something about me feels a little bit alive inside.
And I'm proud to be an American.
I got to bet on the USA tonight, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you watch anything tonight, I know NBA is back and there's some college basketball, but you're going to have rowdy massholes in Boston ready to respond to all the trash talk, all the bull crap that Team Canada has pulled on the United States. It's going to be rowdy because hockey fan is just a different breed of animal.
Yep.
And when your country's involved, it's totally different. Give me Team USA minus 112 on the money line. I'm here for it.
Okay, so I like this because let's face it, hockey is a niche sport. Hockey was mainstream in the late 80s when Gretzky went to the Kings, and it's sort of, they had like a 5-year window between when they made the Mighty Ducks movie where hockey was mainstream.
In this country.
In this country, right?
Yes.
And since then, it's been relegated back to niche sport. It's just not what we do.
The people who are into it are animals.
I agree, and there's no problem with that. What I'm saying, though, is they've not, and this is where the WNBA is going to end up with the Caitlin Clark stuff. It's where boxing was with Tyson. It's where golf was with Tiger. There's some player that transcends the sport itself, and people want to watch it. Well, that person gets old, or the thing, people move on, or whatever. But with hockey, I like this because nobody's watching an NHL All-Star game if it's East versus West, or I don't even know how they do the divisions in hockey. But the point is, if you've got countries, now we're engaged in this, right? It's countries. It's a reason to watch these games. I don't know what any of these players are, but if you're in, I'm in, baby. Go USA.
I am 100% in on USA. So let me ask you this, Rob. With the disaster that was the NBA's All-Star Weekend, where on Saturday, you've got people who have paid really good money to go to this All-Star Saturday. It was in my city last year, our city last year in Indianapolis. Tickets are freaking expensive. And these people pay it because they want to see Victor Wembanyama do the skills competition. Maybe you're a Wembanyama fan. The Spurs go out there and mail it in. They don't shoot the shots. They try to cheat the system, if you will, to win the contest. But this whole thing is supposed to be a showcase for the fans. So they mail it in. Your winner of the dunk contest is some white dude from the G League. Now, he's really good at dunking the ball. But does anybody care that a white dude named Mac McClung has jumped over a car? You don't care about that guy. You care about, Giannis. You care about LeBron. You care about Ja Morant. These are the dudes you want to see in the dunk contest. Even the three-point shootout was lacking a little this year. Ratings are down, and then the All-Star game itself was some piss-poor ran tournament where you've got the Young Stars team and other teams picked by broadcasters. It was a disgrace. And it used to be the crown jewel of All-Star games.
Yep.
Right? The NBA All-Star weekend, I should say, because baseball has always been good. But All-Star weekend used to be awesome. Even if you didn't like the game, Saturday was great. The whole thing sucks now. So you see what's going on with USA and Canada here in this four nations face-off. How would you fix the NBA All-Star game?
Well, I think the biggest problem you've got, and I don't know how you fix this, is the public perception is these guys are not invested the way they used to be. Like when we talked about this, was it last week, the load management stuff. Can you imagine in the 90s when the Bulls are coming to Market Square Arena and they're like, Jordan's not going to play tonight. He's on load management. No, Jordan knew this is my one time this year in this city, in front of these fans. I'm going to give them a show because I know they're going to 30 years from now say, I saw Michael Jordan, and I'm going to give him something to remember. I think there's just a vested, and the All-Star game is the same way. Those guys were competitive. Like, remember when Magic Johnson won the MVP with the comeback? And
right.
I mean, those guys were invested in Larry Bird hitting the shot as he walks off the court and the three-point.
The finger in the air.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the numerous famous dunk contests. Those dudes were invested in winning. Like, you felt they cared as much as you did as a fan. And I just think people are like, these guys are just cashing checks at this point.
They were competitive.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you hear the stories of those dream team practices. The best of the best were on that original dream team, 92. Even though Bird and Magic were a little bit past their prime, they were running these practices and they were competitive. There were fights. There was trash talk. I mean, it was like boot camp. That's not the case anymore. It feels like these players have made so much money, they feel like they don't owe the fans anything.
Well, and this is a major problem you've got for the NBA, which is we are now in a world where pro sports is dictated by television rights deals. And yes, the NBA, I think, has a relatively generous current deal. But 4 or 5 years from now, whenever that deal's up, if these ratings continue to decline, you're not going to be able to recreate that because it's based on ratings.
So with the NBA being so global right now, so many European players that are really good in the NBA, could you make this almost like a patriotic thing where, okay, we've got Team USA against Team Europe this weekend. That's the All-Star game. Luka's on one side. You can put, Giannis on one side. And then over here, there's LeBron. There's Ja Morant. There's these dudes. Does that do anything for people?
I just think the ship has sailed, man. I think the perception is these guys don't. Now, I think the playoffs do okay because the perception is they care.
And the competitiveness actually kicks up.
That's what I'm saying. I think the perception, though, amongst regular people like me is, look, if I got a free ticket from work, I would go because it's something to do in the evening. But I would never pay to see a regular season NBA game because you just don't feel like these guys, you don't feel like they care.
Well, with that being said, you can bet on these regular season games, and we're going to do that next. I've got some action for you in the association. We are the Degenerates Next Door, brought to you by StatFactory.io, your one-stop shop for all things sports statistics. Sign up for the free preview. Become a better with all the information provided by StatFactory.io. We're coming right back with a little action in the association. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, brought to you, powered by StatFactory.io. So we got an awesome hockey game to watch tonight. Even folks that don't really care about hockey Might want to take a look at it tonight. Crowd's going to be incredible. But if it's not your thing, that's okay. We've got other ways you can get action tonight.
I want action tonight. Satisfaction all night.
NBA back at it post All-Star break. Quite a few games on the docket tonight. Memphis on the road at Indiana. Pacers had one of, if not the best record in the NBA in January, right out of the gate. Memphis is a 2-point road favorite at Indiana. Over under right around 249.5. Last year, betting the over in Pacers games was free money.
Yeah.
This year, it's not quite been the same. Odds makers have adjusted. But coming out of the All-Star break, I always like the home teams here. And the Pacers are catching 2 at home. And honestly, I think very few teams in the league benefited more from a break at the All-Star game than the Indiana Pacers did. Because Tyrese Halliburton still a little gimpy, and he played nonstop last year from the Olympics through the season, a run to the conference finals before his body just shut down. And he wasn't right early in the first half of this season either. So I like that he got a break. I like that Miles Turner got a break. Siakam really didn't play that much in the All-Star weekend. I like home teams catching points right outside of the All-Star break. Give me the Pacers at home. I'll take 2 points.
And we had the last week's show, we talked about what I think are pretty good odds if you're willing to take a long shot on the Pacers. What did you have, Matt? 175-1, right?
Right.
So I threw a buck on them. Now I got something to cheer for the remainder of the year. So $1 for eternal happiness, right?
Memphis, they've kind of had Indiana's number over the last couple of years. But again, first game out of the break, I like the home team catching points. Same philosophy here, Orlando at Atlanta. The Magic are a 1.5-point road favorite at the Hawks. The over-under is around 222. That's a pretty low total, but these are teams that play a little bit of defense. I like the Hawks at home. I like the Hawks catching 1.5 at home. Just being the home team here in a pretty much even matchup. Orlando might be a little better on paper, but when they go on the road, they're a little different. I'll take the Hawks catching 1.5. And the Clippers on the road at the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee is a 1.5-point home favorite, over under 225.5. Clippers flying cross country out of the All-Star break. Milwaukee's not catching any points, but it's a pretty low lay here at 1.5. Give me the home team. Give me the Fighting Antetokounmpos of Milwaukee. Ooh. I will lay 1.5 Milwaukee at home against the Clippers tonight. That's a little 3 NBA spread there for you. Now, I'm not parlay guy. I don't want somebody to go, oh, I took all 3 of them damn bets you gave me and I didn't win my parlay. Parlays are sucker bets. Parlays are what Las Vegas casinos are banking you do. And everybody's got that one asshole friend, right? That, well, I remember that one time I won a 10-leg parlay and I bet $5 and won $10,000. Okay. How many did you lose?
Yeah.
Nobody ever talks about those, right? Parlays are such sucker bets. Make everything individual. Ever since I learned that lesson from the great Bobby Slotman, who taught me the ways of the sports gambling world, I've been a better.
We got a buddy who sends us that all the time about when they win their parlays. And
right.
We're supposed to be so impressed that you won this parlay. How many did you lose?
Right. You never send us the ticket that you lost, right? And there's a lot of them. So don't be that guy. If you've ever seen the movie PCU, Jeremy Piven's character,
yep.
He's looking at he's looking at the guy that went to the concert. You're not going to wear the band that you're going to see to the show. Don't be that guy. Don't be parlay guy. All right? That's all we're asking. All right, going to take a little time out. When we come back, are you ready to get nuts, Rob?
Let's get nuts.
That's coming up next. We are the Degenerates Next Door, brought to you by StatFactory.io. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, I'm Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall right across from me. Our pal Kenny Britt of KB Sports. He'll be back next week. But in the meantime, if you need a little bang for your buck, if you are ready to get a little crazy, take a little chance, I've got one question for you, Rob Kendall. Are you ready to get nuts?
All right, you want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts! Lights out! Now you want to get nuts! Come on! Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. What do you got?
All right, we're looking ahead a couple months. We're placing a futures bet here, Hammer.
Let's
And
go.
We're doing this because I think the odds are going to move against you. So if you want to get in on this guy, I would go ahead and do it now. Now, we are less than 2 months away from the creme de la creme of golf, the Masters.
The Masters.
And, as we get closer, I'm sure we'll have a whole show dedicated to the Masters.
The Masters.
And we'll have long shots and short shots and all that good stuff.
How many waitresses is Tiger Woods going to plow in the front nine? We'll have it all.
And one of the stories every year at the Masters is, will this be the year that Rory McIlroy completes the career Grand Slam? It is the only major that he needs to win the Masters. And this year, right now, he comes in at 8-1.
Okay. I feel like that's not enough bang for my buck, though.
Well, here's the thing. So I think this is actually going to move in his favor as we get close, or against, if you're a bettor, it's going to move. Would it be down? Is that right? It would move down as we get closer to the Masters. He finished second a couple of years ago. I think he's got, 5 career top 10s at the Masters. He's too good not to ever actually win this tournament. He won a couple weeks ago. He was in contention over the weekend and at the Genesis, and then ultimately played bad on the weekend. So I'm saying right now, he has 4 career top 5s at the Masters. Second a couple years ago. If you want to get on a Rory McIlroy, I figure 8-1 right now. Now would probably be your time to strike.
All right, you want to get nuts? Come on.
Let's get nuts! Lights out! Now you want to get nuts! Come on! Let's get nuts.
And as a matter of fact, I was going to hold off on this until we got closer to go time, but they've asked me to produce a Degenerates Next Door promo for our Masters coverage. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
The Masters. It's a tradition unlike any other. And this year, Tiger Woods is back, doing all the things that made him a champion. He's staying healthy. He's making putts. And he's fornicating with as many women as he possibly can. All types of women. Short women, tall women, thin women, fat women, white women, black women, illegal women.
Oh!
And we're not just talking about high-end women.
No.
We're talking about chicks that work at Kroger and waitresses from Denny's.
Yes.
The Masters, only on CBS.
See, I'm telling you.
I love that.
We're going to have team coverage of the Masters on the Degenerates Next Door.
That is my favorite week of the year is the Masters. I love that tournament, so we'll have all sorts of fun bets as we get to the 1st of April.
He is Rob Kendall. I am Jason Hammer. We will be back on Tuesday. Again, all systems go on college basketball. And if we get any sort of fun out of the association, we'll talk about that too. Thank you so much. May the odds be ever in your favor. And we will talk to you on Tuesday, right back here with the Degenerates Next Door, brought to you by StatFactory.io.